All right, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shimon, and this week I'm going to be speaking on Sam Smith's Unholy. Um, that's the title, but I want to speak on a. Let's briefly let me talk about Sam Smith. So 5 years ago, he blew up because he had a very mellow, almost John Legend fused with the blues kind of sound, and the guy is very talented in terms of he has a really good voice. If you're spiritual, you could tell this guy's an Israelite foreigner. And as of recently, he completely changed his image to where he was. Um, Now he dresses pretty androgynous, female clothing and all that. But it was a complete 180, very reminiscent of the situation with Lil Nas X. Remember when Lil Nas X made that song Country Road? And it was a pretty cool song, Old Town Road. Then all of a sudden, after he gathered the masses of the children to follow him, he got a bunch of young listeners. All of a sudden, he went full blown satanic homosexuality, stereotypical agenda, right? Sam Smith did something similar. He's blown up now, so he has this unholy song. The title is literally called Unholy, and then he has another song, talk about not having friends. And I'm not gonna even play that video. I'm not gonna show the thumbnail of that video. And it's just lewd acts. They have golden showers in it, like men shaking their ass, cross dressing, and it's just the most. As the Hodgson said, the Hodgsons did a video. They said it's the gayest video ever. I mean, he went full overboard. Now, why are they doing this? Why is this put to the forefront? Why are these guys getting Grammys? Oh, by the way, that individual on the left that appears like a woman is a man, what they call transgender. But we know that you can't. Let me just read this real quick. Let me read this real quick. Um, I'll go back to what I have. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 2. Male and female created he them. So that's it. All right. Male and female. There's no such thing as non-binary gender fluidity and none of that stuff according to the Bible. It's either you a man or a woman. Either you could impregnate or get pregnated. It's that simple. It says, and bless them and call their name Adam in the day when they were created. So this idea that an individual could slap a wig on their head, put some makeup on, and now change their genders is absurd. Exodus 20 and 14, thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, why am I bringing out this scripture? The song Unholy, and when these songs are super catchy, I'm pretty sure if you play them at different speeds or backwards or whatever, you could get some sort of sick message behind it. But when you play it regular, the message is extremely sick. And that's the heavy thing about Satanism. The thing with Satanism is this. If you commit a sin, if Satan gets you to commit a sin unwillingly, there's no real force in it. The force comes in when they let you know that they're sinning. They let you know that this is satanic, and you go ahead and go along with it. That's how come you see the guy got the devil hat on with the horns. He's cross-dressed as a woman, transgender over here. This is all type of androgyny. This is what's pushed to the top. You see, because it's Satan worship. They got a Grammy for it, presented to them by Madonna, which she's heavy, Baphomet imagery and all that. But I'm like, what the fuck is this song really talking about? I know it sounds catchy, but what is it talking about? All satanic, most satanic songs, they gotta be catchy. They got because that's the witchcraft in there. The witchcraft is not, a cat's tail and a crocodile eyes you stirred in a pot. I mean, that's some nasty ass shit you mixing, but it's true witchcraft is repetition. That's really how you mold the mind of an individual. Keep repeating, and again, you want to do this to a generation that is young because when you're young, the mind is more malleable. So you mold the mind through repetitious imagery and repetitious sounds. So remember, like John Todd, that dude that came out, that was a former head of the Council of 13 years ago. He said that they would take the masters of some of these popular songs, bring them to an altar, and put demons on it and pray to Satan that it gets like little kids to take off their clothes. And this is what you have now today. So eventually it worked, And again, the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahshai allowed it to work because Satan is in control, is under subjection to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. He's a left-hand angel, you know. He's just doing what he's meant to do. Can't really get upset about it in the sense of, um, I like how the Apostle Tahal quoted, they're righteous in their wickedness, meaning they're doing what they're meant to do. What would truly be would be wicked if Satan wants to do righteousness. That's wicked because um, scriptures tell you obedience is better than sacrifice. So the right thing for you is to, you know, do this shit, you know. Um, the wickedness, I'm talking about Satan. The right thing for us to do, pursuant to the book of Ecclesiastes, the 13th chapter, the 12th verse, is to serve the Most High, fear His commandments. So we ought not to do this if you try to serve the Lord. You know, but when you go into the song, I'm looking up the lyrics, you know, Unholy, what is it talking about? Well, guess what? The man is singing about a man leaving his home to come and have sex with him at a body shop. And then the girl comes on it. Well, not girl, see, that's Satan. This person comes on and you thinking, okay, it's a woman saying come do something unholy, you know. But if she's single, we know according to the scriptures that's not adultery, right? Because adultery, Leviticus 20 and 10 is, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So that's adultery, right? But if a woman is singing about a man kind of stepping out just to go pop her, hey, I mean, if she's single, there ain't no adultery there. But what makes it unholy is that you have a transgender singing it. So you have a gay man and a transgender man talking about a man leaving off his wife and his kids at home to go do something in secret with them, and they know it's unholy. They know it's unholy. See, that's what I'm saying about the whole Satanism part. They let you know, like, look, this is not, you're not supposed to be doing this, but do it and rub yourself in it anyways. See, and this is also the unholy part. Leviticus 20 and 13. This is like nail on a chalkboard to these demons. It says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with woman, both of them have committed an abomination, because you're not supposed to be doing that. That is confusion. Mixing things that are not supposed to be mixed is confusion. You know? Two men, two women together should not be mixed. There's no life that comes from that. The Most High doesn't deal with mixing things and making every different thing come by as one. The Most High is a separatist. And that's what holy means, to make separate. Unholy is the inverse of that. To join things together that aren't supposed to be joined together. If you look at the way the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushai sets things up, the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushai deals with order. All right, he does everything in decency and order. And the way that is done is through separation. You see? That's why when you go in a grocery store, like let's say you go into a Costco, whatever, you have an aisle that deals with your dairy products. You have an aisle that deals with your clothes. You have an aisle that deals with outdoor stuff. An aisle that deals with mouthwash and shit like that, and dentist stuff, right? And even when you go into that particular aisle, it's separated even more. The toothpaste is over here, the dental floss is over here. Then you go on a toothpaste, it's even separated by brand. So the more you separate things, the more order is created. It's easier to get to things, right? That's how come businesses have file cabinets, and then the file cabinets, there's separation of folders and stuff. This is order. The whole thing with Satanism is to confuse things and jumble everything up. So imagine you go back to that same Costco and you have milk by your clothes with toothpaste and meats, everything in one aisle, and then you go to the next aisle, you have shoes randomly next to a goddamn garden hose. You'll be confused. You wouldn't know how to find shit. And that's the whole thing with Satan, confusion. And that's what America has become, confused. Confused to the point where this lesson here might be banned when I'm speaking nothing but the truth, according to the scripture, while this performance up top will get a Grammy Award and billions of hits because this thing is pumped by Satan. It says, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So, Yahweh Shem, there's certain sins that, you know, you get an animal, you sacrifice, certain sins you unwillingly know, and certain things like that. But this sin right here is a sin worthy of death. See? So that's, the Most High is not dealing with that. Leviticus 18 and 22, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination, plain and simple. And if you notice, the Lord is repeating himself because that whole concept I talked about of molding an individual's mind, that can also be done in righteousness. And that's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai urged us and told us to teach these commandments, teach these statutes, teach your sons and daughters from a very young age. You see, because that's when you can mold their mind onto the next generation. Now they're trying to create a generation of a bunch of effeminate men. Men that don't believe in the Lord. Men that are subjected onto their woman. Which again is backwards, because the woman's supposed to be subjected to a man. Even when you say these things, you could get banned. You could lose your job. You could lose your career. Lose your livelihood. And they talk about what's the hypocrisy is. They always talk about tolerant, be tolerant of others. But they're not tolerant of your beliefs. Deuteronomy 23 and 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, though a sodomite of the sons of Israel. And that's what this agenda is about. Creating whores, women that sleep around, women that are promiscuous, commit adultery, and sodomites, homosexuality, man. Why they putting these guys to the top? The guy could clearly sing. He didn't need to do this. You put a video up of him 5 years ago. He was dressed quite humbly. A white t-shirt. He had a beard. He was slimmer. That's another thing too. They try and show you it's acceptable to be fucking fat, overweight, and you can still blow up. So they're changing the whole imagery up. They're getting guys getting people like Lizzo, getting dudes like this, where the artist is just overweight, sloppy, and still successful and shit. So that's another thing they want to do. They want to make you fat, man. Which fat's a demon, man. See? It shows a complete lack of discipline. You can't control what enters your mouth. You can't, That's what they're trying to promote. It says, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Sodomy is anal sex. You're not supposed to be putting your rod even in a woman's ass. Still sodomy. You're not supposed to be doing that. It's a complete sin. But again, this is what's promoted here in America, man. 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, spiritual and physical fornicators, adultery, nor idolaters. And this is idol worship. You put the top hat on, which you already know the top hat is symbolic as well. But not only does he have the top hat on, he has the horns coming out. See, again, that's the thing with Satan. He has to let you know, look, this is satanic, and you're going along with it. See? Be not deceived, neither fornicators. And this is an enchantment, man. When I watch this video, I let me watch this. Let me see what this thing is about before I do more research on it. Because I saw Candace Owens do a video, Ben Shapiro, the Hodge twins, doing videos on this Sam Smith guy about how dude just pretty much turned around, and that's what they have you do, because you pretty much have a large fan base already. You see, that's how the devil comes. The devil comes in the wolf comes in sheep clothing. So they get a guy like Lil Nas X, you think he's oh look man, he's making some country music for the kids. Or you had the Sam Smith guy 5 years ago, his music is so relaxing, it's soul music, and then when they get enough audience, boom, let's switch him up now. Because most people wouldn't go for this shit off rip, but this guy already had a large fan base, just like Nas X. So most people would sway to the side, but guess what? A lot of people would stick with it. Like Candace Owens said, she said, I threw out all this dude's records because she was a huge fan of this guy. Because he was making really mellow type music, man. It says, be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. See? So that's what this whole shit is about. And again, if you watch that video, man, that shit is sick, man. That shit is sick. It's called I Don't Want Friends. Sick. Jude 1 and 7, even as Sodom and Gomorrah, it's like it. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them, so the 5 cities were that were slaughtered for destruction, in like manner giving themselves over to fornication, right? They was adultery, sleeping with each other. This place is wicked, man. In America, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, pursuant to the book of Revelations 11:8, because that same spirit of Sodom is here, that same spirit of Egypt is here in terms of bondage and slavery. In America, you got people marrying their cars. You got people doing all types of crazy shit. It says giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh are set for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Now, Sodom and Gomorrah, what does it mean by eternal fire? That we're still talking about it on to this day. You know, that's over there in Iraq, right? I believe Sodom and Gomorrah. It's over there in the Middle East. And it's still observed today that, you know, that place got turned to a pillar of salt. You know, the Lord melted that shit. But the eternal fire, the reason it's still burning is because it's still burning in the minds of us today, because the Lord kept it fresh in this book. Every time you read it, it gets put back in your remembrance. That's the same thing. That's the same judgment that's going to befall America. Because the smoke is going to burn here for a very long time when the Lord destroys this place with the thermonuclear missiles. All right, and the lasers from the chariots. But it's going to be talked about from generation to generation. In fact, the deliverance out of here is going to be like Passover point 2.0. And we're going to keep that ceremony in the kingdom of heaven. So all this madness that you see in America is being recorded, and it's going to be talked about of how greatly wicked this place was, and the things that they were promoted. You know, you see the red. You know, red. Why? Red represents sin. Crimson, criminal. All this imagery, these dumbass masses don't even see. You know, and some of them even do see it and say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just stick with it." So that's how come you look at music and all around the satanic worship have gone way up, man. You look at these hip hop dudes, right? Hip hop and rap dudes. Now they getting tattoos on their face and wearing chokers and all this type of shit. That's how our death metal guys used to do. The tattoos all over themselves and shit. You know, that was frowned upon Jake. You know? So slowly they fused it. Now you got like drill rap, which is no more different than death metal, where, you know, remember death metal, Jake was like, I can't understand what the fuck they saying. Now it's the same shit. Just the beat's catchy. See? Now, if you're a man of the Lord, if you're one of the Lord's elect, you can listen to this shit all day. Nothing's gonna happen to you. There's no enchantment against Jacob. I'm just trying to say the point, like, these enchantments and shit that they're doing through the different musics and movies and mainstream, all at the end of the day, that has no effect on the elect of the nation of Israel. I could listen to this song. I ain't gonna do no fucking madness like this. But guess what? I'm doing the work of the Lord, and Lord willing, I'm of the hopeful elect. But the majority of people out there, this is gonna influence them, man. And you had that video. I'm gonna close out too. You had 2 clips on TikTok with a woman painting her face, her son's face with makeup on, and you had another video of a dude. He got out of jail for all these years, come back to see his son. His son was now completely dressed and masquerading as a woman, man. And the dad was all like hugging up on her, like looked like weird, man. Like he was almost like turned on. He probably got turned out there in jail. But it shows you that you left jail, your son normal, you come back and he's fully, completely engulfed in this agenda. Brainwashed. Israelite, by the way, too. Yeah, man. So this sick ass wicked agenda that's gonna keep going. It's only gonna keep getting worse until the missiles come. All right. We have to shine light upon it, you know, because we're the few men, a few good men. We're the few men, Lord willing, good, few men, all right, that are speaking up against this atrocity, man. And we're the primary targets. Men that are fearing the Most High. Men that want to remain men. People that want to keep things natural, how God intended it to be. How the Lord Yahweh intended it to be. These are the enemies right now to these people. So that's why they're going to cancel you, try to destroy you, hell, and at some point try to kill you. With that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the whole hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the most truth and sincerity. Shalom.